Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is another one of these exciting episodes where I get to go through my anime list, and the year is going to be 1987. Really, really long and really big, so basically what I actually have to do is I'm going to have to cut the episode into half, because it's just so much content, right? So this is the second half in the next episode, okay? So, again, I will give you my best selections for this part of the year. So again, if you only have a little bit of time to watch maybe one or two things, I will give you those selections at the end of the video. Okay, so be tuned for that. So I get down to the selection process, right? So before I begin, don't forget to go down below, click like, and click subscribe, and then you'll get more videos. And of course, when the conclusion for this episode, you would also want to get notified for that, so don't forget to click the notification bell so that when that new episode comes out, then you'll be able to look at that. Also, don't forget to go check out my database of previous episodes, because obviously if you like watching these type of episodes and seeing what kind of suggestions I have, don't forget to check out 1986, 85, 84, 83, and see what the suggestions that you should watch from those years as well. Okay, so without any further delay, let's begin. 1987. Okay, so again, we'll begin halfway through the year, right? So this is part 2, so we're doing the summer and fall of 87. If you've missed my winter and spring, then go back and check out the first part, right? So again, we look at the beginning TV series that started in the summer of 87, and okay, so for this part of the season, it's pretty simple. There's only 2 new TV series. The first one is a one called the Transformers: The Headmasters. So this is a relatively forgettable series of Transformers. So much so that even though it's released here in '87, it wasn't actually released in North America until 2011. So it's just one of those sort of happened even after the anime crash, when basically everyone's just trying to scoop it up for all the the cheap and the garbage stuff that they can try to make some money on. So so that's one of those type of series. But definitely it's another series of Transformers designed to sell toys, of course. And the second series that was released in this season was called Machine Robo Battle Hackers. Okay, so this is a continuation, more series of the Machine Robo's Battle for Kronos type of stuff. So again, if you like that kind of stuff, again, it doesn't really have much continuation to the previous one, because of course the original characters are not in this one. There's just a totally other set of characters, but again in that same sort of theme of transforming bodysuits and that kind of stuff. So it's they're really trying to get into this marketing thing, and again very, very related to the Transformers. That give you that kind of idea. So this is what the new TV series has for this particular time. Okay, so we just scroll ahead to the ongoing TV series, and you may notice that there's Maison Akaku and Orange Road here. Again, if you want more details about this, check out the previous episode, 1987 Part 1, and then we'll cover those things. Anyway, so we continue on here. We got Bubblegum Crisis. Let's start with the OVAs here. Right, those are one of the really big things that came out, right? Because it's cyberpunk, it's girls in suits with guns blowing stuff up. I mean, this is what the epitome of what anime in our ideal mind was supposed to be. I may also make a note that this is 1987 now, right? You gotta think AnimeList didn't get it licensing, didn't even get it out onto tape and whatnot until 92. Okay, so quite a bit further away. I mean, like I said, I remember going to San Diego Comic Con and then coming back to to go see Anime America, and then there's Kenichi Sonoda getting pictures and that kind of stuff, and getting autographs and that kind of stuff there. That's where my Kenichi Sonoda caddy story came from, and so that's 1992. So I mean, this is almost 5 years from now before they start releasing Bubblegum Crisis. So you can just kind of imagine how exciting it is, that we get to see this new anime, and it isn't out yet. Like most people don't know what it is, so it's really quite cool. See what else we got. Next one is Robot Carnival. Okay, so this is a pretty cool anime, because it's you know you think about robots and that kind of stuff. You think Isaac Asimov, I Robot and that kind of stuff at this bigger time. And so it's really kind of really neat that here we have a whole bunch of relatively famous artists and that kind of stuff. Even the guy who does who's going to end up doing Akira. He basically makes a sort of a robot short story, and they kind of compiled them all together, and includes various different famous artists and that kind of stuff into this thing, and makes this sort of complete thing called Robot Carnival. So again, if you're interested in, like I said, robot shows and that kind of stuff, or robot stories anyway, and you see a variety of different works, they kind of put them amalgamated into this one story. So it's just kind of really kind of neat for that one. All right, the next one is a movie called Lily Cat, or Lily Cat, and again, this is another one of these. I guess they made quite a few of them. This is based off of, or kind of resembles, the Alien movie from '79. So basically, something was released a little bit earlier, same kind of concept, like spaceship, and then some weird alien that invades and does something on the ship, and then basically the crew's got to figure it out, and kind of thing. So it's kind of that sci-fi horror kind of works off of that, and so yeah, this is kind of a slight deviation to the story. Adds a little few elements to it, but I mean, it's essentially the same kind of plot. And so, if you like that kind of sci-fi thriller type of thing, this one might be kind of good for that. And it's fairly popular at that time too as well. All right, and we'll continue on here. Next title is Dangayo. Okay, so again, this is another one of these. In North America, this is one of the early titles that sort of came out. Which kind of represented anime, and so this one, really nice artwork again. Hirano, really good. Kind of because you got some of his work from like Ixure One, so again he makes Dangayo, which is really nice. Love that kind of art style. Remember his art book, that was one of the first ones I got. Really loved getting lots of images and that kind of stuff in that one. And again, he also had his start from some Cream Lemon episodes, so that's another reason why this was such a big draw. But again, I make note that this is 1987. U.S. renditions didn't actually get the tape for this thing out until like 91. So I mean, again, we're still talking about several years of transition before they actually get it out. So this is like for a lot of us who are tape trading this right now, it's pretty exciting that we got such this cool anime that hasn't been known, like no one really knows about it. Now we can also remember this thing as well, because no one knows about it and that kind of stuff, and because it hasn't been really fan subbed. A lot of us are still watching these shows like Bubblegum Crisis and Dango with no translation, so no English subtitles, no English dub. Okay, so we're just watching it straight in Japanese. We're just enthralled with all the action and the kind of stuff in it, not actually really knowing what's going on, because again, these things weren't translated, weren't done until they get later fan subbed. Now again, we didn't fan sub any of the Dango. We did do some of the Bubblegum Crises, to about like number 4 or 5, I think, and then that was basically when Aniego finally announced that they were actually going to release it, so that we didn't do any more after that. So that's an interesting, good title there. The next one is called Hinatori. A lot of people call it the Space Phoenix or whatever. And so this is kind of an interesting variation of of the Phoenix story. How the Firebird will always be reincarnated and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of interesting. A lot of people did trade that around. That was kind of a cool sort of again, I didn't really care for the artwork, but it was still fairly popularly traded around. The next one is Crystal Triangle. Now this is a bizarre show. It's it kind of has the concept of like an Indiana Jones, kind of try to find this kind of this lost treasure type of thing. But for some reason, they had to give them like Esper powers and that kind of stuff, to get out of those weird fixes. I mean, so if that's not just like things like Orange Road and Dangayo and things like that, for some strange reason, a lot of the main heroes, they really like to push that, has psychic powers and Esper type like powers. So this is like, obviously one of those type of things where they kind of mixed it together. It's not great, but again, people did watch it. I remember renting this one, so that was one of the animes at this time. Okay, and the next couple here coming up are, let's see, Dead Heat. Now that was kind of an interesting one. Kind of a mixture of two really popular themes, right? So it's it's motorbiking and that kind of stuff. So it was just hot on the heels of a whole bunch of other sort of motorbike kind of things. And again, I'm not a big motorbike fan, but again, my friend David Urquhart was really into that kind of stuff, right? So it's all about fast bikes and that kind of stuff. So that had that, but it also mixed this thing on with with sort of mech and stuff, right? So and the element of racing and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a mixture of a whole bunch of different kind of genres all kind of together into this one sort of anime. So it was kind of a neat thing there. Kind of like a little personal favorite of that one there. Next one after that is a high school agent. Okay, so this is another one of these undercover high school kid cop thing. So, I mean, it's off of that same theme of 21 Jump Street. Probably was never as extreme as this kind of of this kind of anime, but it's fun and action, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people like that kind of thing. So that was really short. Was that one shotter there? So that was neat. Majoko Club. So this is again in this era. It's the the magical girls. Trying to fight the weird alien with all the tentacles, and so that was a really popular thing. And then, it kind of is the beginning of the magical fighting girl genre type thing that's soon going to be arising. Because I said magical girls right now are what you think of like the Cream Mammy and Pastel Pasha and things like that. But now this is this sort of the next step. So a lot of people a lot of people were kind of looking at this one, because I remember I remember down asking for a tape from this from one of the CFO chapters on the US, if I remember right. I had to order that in, and this I noticed that this is sort of the trend for a lot of those magical girl fighting things against the hentai tentacles. Okay, and we move on to the last few ones here. Let's see, we got the next one. It's called Putnam Love. I remember that one. This is one of those. It's based off of a manga. Really, really. I guess the best way to call it is it's one of these soft core or soft porns, if you will. So so it kind of indicates, but it's not really, and just hides just enough. And so it's cute enough story. And it just borders on just being hentai, but not quite. But it was really interesting. I remember getting this from the Japanese convenience store, Convinia, really. So again, it's not classified as adult, but it's really that kind of that soft, the kind of soft core, if you will. Okay, and that was a really kind of thing that was really popular in the late '80s. Is trying to skirt that line. So yeah, again. I remember that was a kind of a lot of people follow just because of the name, right? It just has the word love in it and everything. So, and let's see, the next one is Pastel UC Persha. Okay, in another case, so it's more of the magical girls just falling on the steps of Magical Emmy. Well, there was a little bit of following for this, but again, episodes were really short, so the people who sort of were trying to get interested in these magical girl type shows really had a lot of problems getting them, because just no one really followed things like Korean Mommy or or Persha or anything like that, or even Pastel Yumi when that comes out. Just no one ever got any episodes of it, so that was just really hard for them to get. Okay, so we go continue on with more movies here. So these are the movies for this 1987 summer, and we got the Dragon Ball second movie. Okay, so that was again, a lot of people who were interested in Dragon Ball were really anxious and to try to follow this one. So Definitely, you probably already know about that. But the two other interesting ones is this one here, Manny Manny, okay, which other ones went by the name Labyrinth Tale. Now that one was a really big, blockbuster one at that particular time. Um, I think most of it just referred to it as Labyrinth Tales, and basically, like Robot Carnival, it is a mixture of a bunch of shorts done by very proliferant artists at this particular time. Okay, so this particular the anime was done by three major directors: Rintaro, Yoshiki Kajuri, and of course Kashiro Otomo. Okay, now Otomo, of course, he's already he's going to be famous for Akira. All right, so and so that's really well acclaimed at that time. Rintaro, now he's also pretty well known. At this time, he was already he already made things like Dagger Kumuli. He made the Galaxy Express 39 stuff. Okay, and then and in the future he'll be later known for doing X, the movie. Okay, so that's another one of those really big, powerful ones that we did at those at our own convention movies and that kind of stuff, which was really a big a pull. Okay. And of course, the third person was Yoshiki Kajuri. Okay, again at this time, he'll be he's building up things like Lensman and that kind of, wins called Amnesia, but he will be known for like a lot of really big titles like Wicked City, Ninja Scroll. Demon City Shinjuku, Cyber City Oedo. So I mean, just some really good titles that he'll be kind of known for. That we will see in the near future from him. So, so Batman is sort of a great little sort of thing. Whereas a lot of little things, these three sort of little shorts put together. Definitely it's worth checking out for that one. Okay. And of course, the last one in this row is the Saint Seiya Eris movie, if you will. Basically, the evil goddess Eris or whatever, the goddess of chaos or whatever, manages to get the golden apple and get resurrected, i.e., Minecraft. And basically threatens the world, so therefore the Saints have to go and protect Athena and beat down the bad guys, and just this exactly the same plot that has from all the other Saints is, but now of course now they put it into a movie, just change the characters, change the other guys that the Saints have to go to, which are the Ghost Knights. So yeah, it's basically you can probably figure out the rest of the plot from here. Okay, moving along, we have the Bari Bari Densetsu. Now, again, I mentioned Dead Heat earlier on. This is the movie that, again, I think was really followed more, which is, again, bike racing, high performance bikes again. So again, this one was the one that I know Dave really wanted me to get some translation and kind of stuff too, but we just never really got any interested translators and stuff to get this one done. So we just said. So I think we just left it for that point. But yeah, if you're into bike racing kind of stuff, I know they had like things like Circuit Angel and other ones like that. Again, Dead Heat from earlier on. That was all motorbike kind of stuff, but I think the closest we ever got to that kind of stuff would be like Bubblegum Crisis for like the first episode, where Pris has the affection for bikes. See, the next one after that is Maps. Now this is the original OAVA for Maps. I mean, I know they remade it later on, but this is the original one, and I know this is a personal favorite one. It's just because it's got a really good cast actually. It's got Akira Toriyama doing doing Abe's voice, and of course him as doing Yoro's voice in City Hunter, and Kenshiro's voice in Fist of the North Star. But for me, Hiromu Su does the main voice here in this one too, and of course she's most well known for Madoka's voice in Orange Road. All you Dragon Ball fans also know her as doing Bulma's voice. Okay. So yeah, again, this is a quick little OVA. Nice little sci-fi. Like again, just sort of a personal favorite of mine. Okay, so we continue on here. We have two more sort of animes that no one really, I don't even remember what these ones are about. Even that one seems to be about biking, but anyway. But the one I did remember right away is TWD Express. I remember getting this one from Fuji Video downtown. And, it's not a really quite forgettable anime. Again, just a bunch of guys, running a transport, ship, and it's getting hijacked, and people are basically they're not doing their job very well, due to various pirates and thugs and stuff like that. Anyway, so it's a quite lighthearted sort of kind of random sort of anime. Um, you know, I guess it's fun. I suppose that's really about all it is, and it's pretty much a one shot or so. And not even the best anime either, too. Like in terms of anime style and that kind of stuff. But has some different concept. They're reflective of the time. Okay, we can continue to scroll along here. The Bug, the Honey, I don't remember that one. Push, again, another one that no one knows about. And okay, here we go. Zillion recaps. So again, this is based off of the Zillion, video game slash TV series, and this is the recaps. So obviously, this is the the shortened version where they just kind of go over all the episodes and put the clips and that kind of stuff together to give you all the recap of them. So, all right, so we go right back to the top again. We're at the 1987 fall season now, so the last season. And right at the top we have Lady. So again, this is another one of these, girl stories. I mean, I guess they got Candy as well. So I mean, that's a similar idea. But no one knew what this was, and barely collected that one. Anime Sangoshi. Okay, so this is the Legend of the Three Musketeers. Now again, I remember getting some of this in French under the name Sous the Sing the Mousquetaire. And again, I didn't really understand what was really going on there because the episodes were all kind of first of all in French, but they also were really scattered. So I never really collected a lot of the episodes and try to place them in any order. But yeah, at least that was an outlet for me to at least get started. And before it was before I knew it was actually anime. Last, we have the Mr. Achiko, which is another of these cooking type shows, but I guess this is long before, Food Wars or anything like that. But again, no one cared, no one knows what it is, so that was about it. All right, so we move ahead here. So right away, you're here at the Cream Lemon Angel series. Now, since you hear Cream Lemon, of course, we're probably talking about like smut. But so here it is. They list it as a TV series, and I thought this was rather strange because I'm looking at the stats here, and it says it's 37 episodes, and they're 3 minutes long each. And I don't remember them having that many episodes or that that short of an episode. So I'm thinking either this is something that's kind of strangely broadcast or some sort of short clip that was on the end of something or whatever. But I sort of remember it as a completed OVA. And there was an insert to one of the lasers in the Cream Lemon set. So I was thinking, okay, so so this definitely is about idol singers and whatnot. I guess similar to like a debut, for example. But of course, with the Cream Lemon touch to it, they're obviously doing smutty things. Okay. So this is definitely one of those ones that are more on the risque side, definitely. What else have we? Have Kamen Ninja no Akage. Nobody hell knows what that is. Bikikuru Man. No one knows what that is. So those are available. Let's move on here. All right. So we have Tinchunkan. Don't know what that is. No one cares. Norak Horobun. Again, something no one cares about. And Manga no Niaman. Well, okay, that's all. Basically, nothing else for the rest of this season. So let's move on. Okay, so skip past all the ongoing TV series stuff. Okay, and then go to the OVAs. And right away, OVAs. We have Bubblegum Crisis. So again, I've already spoken that we have many episodes. There's 8 episodes of the Bubblegum Crisis OVA set, and of course they're coming up relatively frequently. Devilman, Tanjo Kun. That's the like the birth or the beginning of Devilman. Now, Devilman is obviously based off of a much older series from the 70s. Um, Done by Go Nagai, so he's famous for like Cutie Honey and all that kind of stuff. And even with Cutie Honey, I don't think there's anything really wrong with the story. It's kind of a rather interesting story. I just can't get past his artwork. I mean, I realize that Devilman and Cutie Honey are basically franchises in themselves. So I support. I recognize and note the importance of that, but I just really can't get past the artwork. So that's why I don't personally like it. The series. Now the one Devilman series I did like a lot of was Devilman Lady. So let's say that I did like that kind of stuff. Anyway, so but that's much further in the future. I'll get that when we get there. And the last one here is Sanctus. Okay. Not no. I mean, I think they write it down as poem of wind trees or something like that. I don't think very many people actually refer to that. But even I still have the tape for this thing, and I always had it labeled as Sanctus. But yeah, this is the beginning of another one of these yaoi type titles. Two boys in a boarding school. I guess it's kind of like that Amy Sorakara episode where in Cream Lemon, where Amy got sent to the boarding school, and then all the girls took advantage of her, and so this, I guess, is the yaoi version of that. Yeah, so at this time, this kind of material was very underground and not very well received. I mean, you got to think, this stuff is very, the whole entire, the kind of movement wasn't really generally accepted until, like, I mean, you gotta think, even Magic Johnson didn't come out until like 91, and George Michael didn't come out until 98. So I mean, so this kind of stuff is very, very, was very, very buried and very, very unknown. Okay, so again, not many people had it. I I think I got the tape from one of the Iwase sales or something from what I remember, because I remember I didn't pay full price for it, so I must have just got it when they were had it in their discount bin. And yeah, so it's just one of those things. I guess it's one of the wasn't the first Yaoi video, but I mean it's one in a start of many. Because I remember they had like Kazuna and a few other things like that coming out around this particular time. Okay, so moving on here, we have the next one's called Junk Boy. So this is another one of those, guy, the perverted guy going after the girls type of thing. Very synonymous to a later version of the OAVA for Golden Boy, and similar type of idea. A comedic, a little bit of cheekiness, not quite hentai enough, but that's it's still pretty good. One definitely one to check out. There's Battle Royale High School. Now this one's really nice. Okay, this one, another one of these. Guy goes to school and has to fight off demons and monster guys and whatever things like that with a touch of again risqueness, which is all really good. The notable thing about this one is that the character designer is Noburuyuki. Okay, so the guy you know for Record of Lotus Wars, but he's known for so much more other stuff that that he comes up later on of this particular style. I mean, he does things like Escaflowne as well, which doesn't look like this, but in terms of OVAs, right? He does things like Angel Cop and Battle Angel Alita, which is sort of that same kind of art style that he likes to draw. So yeah, definitely this is one of the ones that is highly noted for his artwork there. And the next one, of course, is Dirty Pair, the OVA. So again, just right after the heels of the Dirty Pair TV series now ending, now they have a new set of short OVAs coming out to finish off this series. Again, this is a really short series. There's only like 10 OVAs in this little set here, and so now they started coming out with the OVA sets for the new Dirty Pair as well. Okay, moving on now. We have the classic Madox 01. So again, so this is one of those titles that AnimeGo picks up really early, and gets licensed and releases it. But again, Maniac Saw 1, doesn't show up onto our shelves until into the 1990s, late early 1990s. So and this is 97. So I mean, we're still got like it's 4 years away before we actually get an English subtitle copy of it. That we can watch, right? So this is really exciting that all the eyes and everything is being focused on this particular year, because this is a lot of the titles that we begin seeing on our shelves in North America, albeit, of course, several years from now. But again, guy finds a mecha thing, very like a Gundam story, and yeah. So then all of a sudden he finds this battle mech and gets inside and starts having a big joyride in it, and then ends up the government's all chasing after him trying to get it back, right? So it's kind of cool there. Next one is Densha de Go. So that's a ghost story. It's like Take the X Train. Other than the fact that it is done by Rintaro, which is the guy, one of the very famous artists that worked on that Labyrinth Tales, which I said earlier on. But again, nobody really knew what this one was, and no one really traded it. So this is kind of one of those nice titles that probably got lost and forgotten about. That's unfortunately, just I think it's just because the poor distribution and poor advertising on that part just made it really kind of rather obscure. Okay. And the next one is Toy. Now this one I liked. Toy is this is a great short OVA about a band, and how it's sort of was really famous and that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden they did the band sort of broke apart, and then they have to bring them back together again for the last concert, and so other than that the story's kind of sketchy, but other than that what I really liked this was the music. Okay, it was done by Psys. Okay, PSYS. Okay, this is before there are I guess it was size. So this is before, of course, the Gundam style, and of course this is also before that other chick that does the California Dreaming song for the movie on San Andreas. Before that became everyone's using Size as the name. But yeah, so definitely this one is a really cool one to check out, especially for the music. This is a really nice one. Okay, so getting on, we get the next installment for the Golf Force series, Golf Force 2 Destruction. So again, more continuation. Now, of course, the only character that really carried over from the first one was Luffy, but anyways, so yeah, it's more of the all girls blasting off alien guys and that kind of stuff. So it's more Kenichi Sonoda, so that's very good for that. Again, so Kenichi Sonoda is getting lots of press right now with both Bowling Crisis and of course Golf Wars. The next one is Hinatori, so more of that Space Phoenix story. So they've had a couple installments of this one in the last couple of years, and people got bits and pieces of that one. So that was it was traded around, but like no one really had like all the pieces, and which one was the other, which is the other one that was the major issue. No one really knew which Hinatori they got. So that's kind of one of those mixed up series. And then of course last one here is Hage no Oni. It was hard to translate the title for this one, but I think the most common name that a lot of people wanted was Steel Demon. Okay, and this one was really nice because it's again lots of good big names in this one particular thing here. The artwork and the production stuff of that is Obari, so the guy who does Fatal Fury. So you'll like that. And the main character designer is Noriyuki Oda. Okay, He's known for a whole bunch of different series. Like at this time, he was really well known for like the OVAs for Soul Bianca. So the first OVA set for Soul Bianca, but then later on, he is really big on a whole bunch of series in the future. Berserk, Gantz, and even Inuyasha. He's the character designers for those ones. Okay, so definitely this is a good starting point for a lot of this stuff that he'll do, and you'll see in the future there. Again, another one of these futuristic sort of opens up a research center that opens up a dimension into another world where these organic things and demon like whatever like mecha biomecha things come through, and then you have to beat them down and that kind of stuff. So pretty nice work on that. Okay, so the next one coming up is the Samurai. So when I looked at this initially, when I looked at this thing, I was going, okay, wait a minute, it looks somewhat familiar, but I've never heard of it for the longest time, and it didn't click in place for me. So I'm thinking, because I'm looking at that, and some people will say, oh, that looks like kind of Maison Akaku, and no, it's not Maison Akaku. That's what it looks like. It's not Rumiko Takahashi, but I'm looking at the girl figure in the background. That kind of reminds me of the way Apple's drawn in the manga for Zillion, right? So I'm thinking, okay, and so yeah, you was right. It is the character designer for the Zillion, but this is one of these animes that again at the time I never really heard about, and it wasn't really distributed a lot. Again, it's one of those lost, forgotten animes, and then only when I just looked at it again and checked out the information, realized the connection. Oh, it actually is released by 80 Vision, but it didn't take until 2003 for them to get it out. So this is obviously during the big heyday of Japanese animation releases. So this is one of the ones that they obviously picked up on the rebound. When they're going backwards looking for titles. So yeah, this another fun, quick kind of anime, modern day samurai type of thing. Well, the reason why I got overlooked because it's pretty overlookable, shall we say? But it something fun to look at, I guess. These two guys are probably a little more. I remember. Ladius is the next one here. Now I had the laserdisc for this one, and we also fan subbed this one because it's one of my personal favorites. Now, so like Legacium that I mentioned earlier for this year, they made another one like this one, and really good art. Basically good cover artwork on the laserdisc, and it makes you think, oh, this is gonna be really good. And so again, another one of these girls in mech kind of suit type of things with a little touch of nudity just to flavor it up. But yeah, it's it's that sort of same flavor of anime. Same thing with the next one, Good Morning Althea. Okay, so again, nice cover artwork with this one. Again, this is another one of those ones that we fan subbed really early. And again, girls in sort of mech type suit, kind of has that space exploration type of feel to it, and it was really kind of it was a, again, nice one shot sort of OVA sci-fi kind of thrill type thing, anime that was really popular at this particular time, because then all those sort of films, this this one obviously, Althea, Ledius, and Legacium were all kind of ones that were circulating almost at about the same time, and I remember I grabbed all the laserdiscs for those ones. Now the key reason things, for example, this kind of type of show is that because I said earlier I like Legacium because it's the the Zeta Gundam guy that did that one. Ladius, okay, is the Madox 01 guy who did that one, and of course the last one, Good Morning Althea, it's our good old friend Kiyosamiya, who does, of course, all the Silent Mobiuses and all that other stuff. So so very famous character designer and character designers at this particular time. Did these sort of this cluster of girls and robot type animes. So that's why I really like these particular ones. Okay, and speaking of the last OVA, Legacium, Relic Armor Legacium, here it is. So again, the the artwork is done by the guy who does Zeta Gundam, and even the character kind of resembles Alpi Buru again. So girl and this. So this is the third one of that series right here, and it's a nice collection of that kind of anime, which is really nice. The next one is the Oranjo Tanaba special. So this is one of these basically special sort of extra OVA, which is the kind of made it out of a TV episode anyway. So they threw that here. Because they don't really have the Orange Road Best Clips collection like the zillion Best Clips collection. They made something like this, which is fine. And then there's next one is Flying Luna Clipper. Never heard of this particular one. And I don't remember anyone actually ever trading that one either. So that's probably one of the long lost titles that no one really did anything of. Okay, so moving along, we have the maybe scoopers. Okay, so this is you basically some reporters or that kind of stuff, and they're basically playing detective. They're trying to figure out this murder mystery type of thing. I remember I rented this one. Actually, no, I didn't remember this one. I think this one I got through a trade, if I remember right. And like TW Express, it's one of these sort of one-shot wonders out of this, out of this season. Now, the only other significant part about this Scoopers is that the art design is done by Monkey Punch, and of course, Monkey Punch as the person who does Lupin III. So, just for the artist type of sake, if you're into that kind of style of art, you want to check that one out. Okay, so what else do we have? Milk House Dreaming. Nobody knows what that is. Pretty real, I guess. And next one is Kate no Shinkuma, and nobody knows what that is either. Those are pretty much unknowns, and nobody had that, and pretty much no one traded it either. Okay, and so moving on here, we have the Titanen Blues and Kentoroso Densetsu. Okay, so again, two sort of motorcycle gang type of shows and that kind of stuff, and we're still a long ways before things like GTO and anything good like that. This is more of that stuff that was kind of based off of that Bari Bari Densetsu. By far, Bari Bari was the most successful of those ones. I already told you that I had a roommate that was really into that kind of stuff, and one time I did want to get Bari Bari Densetsu subtitle, but we just never got a translator who was interested in that, and so that really passed by the wayside. And and again, all these type of shows all kind of went with them, so that was unfortunate for that time period. Boku no Oldies non Seller. Okay, again, this like the other three titles on this entire row, really nobody's heard of these ones, and really no one's ever distributed these around during this time. Just because, like I said, if someone doesn't, isn't interested or isn't able to get such a video, as said, and you get it transferred or copied or put it onto a tape, then really it's very difficult for any show to get any traction. Just because the distribution level will be just so low over here in North America. Okay, so that finishes off all the OVAs. Now we begin with the last bit of movies here. We have right off the bat there's Lupin III, the Fuma Conspiracy. So again, if you're into that Monkey Punch, a lot of people have been always waiting for those Lupin III movies. This is another one of these very good ones. The Castle Cagliostro was another one that's really good at this particular type of series. So again, those are definitely worth catching. The next one is Genji Monogatari. So this is the classic story of Genji. All right. So now I know I mentioned in one of my previous videos that that we taken and subtitled the Genji from Kiyosumiya. Once we did that one, a lot of people then gravitated towards that version of Genji because again, it has much more famous artwork, and again, it had translation. So that was a big plus in the days. And it had a translation or a synopsis or a script for it. Was much more readily available and much more interested. The people gained from that. All right. Then we get Twilight of the Cockroaches. Now this is this is a really quite epic sort of film. A lot of people really like this particular show because it's just it has a strange title. I get it, but it was one of these studio produced for the theater type of anime. So again, it's very famous and very prolific type of movie that you'd want to take a look at as well. Okay, we have Mari Densetsu and Shuri Toshiro. So another baseball love story that nobody knows anything about, and at least it's not by the guy who does Nine and all that kind of stuff. Hitomi no Naka, Saint Elmo, and Station Anime Zero Special. So basically, nothing else that no one ever knows anything about. Okay, so that basically wraps up this particular. Now we're gonna get into the best of. So again, it's. I'll give you my suggestions for this particular out of the 2 seasons of 1987 here, and then if you got depending on how much time you have, you might want to check some of these out. Okay, so again, I'll start with the TV shows first, and this is not too difficult because there's only really 3 notable titles in the TV series, and I'm stretching the word notable, but of course we have the Transformers TV series. We have the Machine Robo Battle Hackers series, and we also have Sangoshi, or the Three Musketeers. Suseng the Mousquetaire. Okay. Now the reason I say that, unlike the previous years, is that these are my choices that I have to pick with, and they're not great choices in this sense that, Transformers. Okay, we get it. This is not even one of the better of the Transformers series. And I get it. It's a series released to sell toys. I mean, that's it's a big, huge advertisement. 22-minute advertisement essentially. And so I don't expect a lot, and that's what you basically get with this. And like I said, it took the studios in North America well into the 2000s before they actually released this thing. So they basically went back and picked up stuff off the garbage pile to release it at this time. So that gave you an indication of what the priority of this one was. Battle Hackers, of course. I was a big fan of Machine Robo Kronos, and again, they built up really good characters. Lena Stahl is probably one of the most famous and favorite characters of that. I mean, of course, the whole entire thing with the brother and the Yamete Oni-chan thing. I mean, very, very similar to the Cream Lemon Ami series, right? That's happening at this time. So it's very, very synonymous to that. So you had all that, and then you make a Battle Hackers, which has none of the same characters, none of the same animation and everything. So it really didn't need to be called Machine Robo. It could have been called something else, and it would have been just fine, right? But that was one of those things where, hey, if we attach the word Machine Robo to it, maybe it'll do better than just calling it Battle Hackers, right? So that's my thought on that one. And so that leaves you, the Three Musketeers, which of the 3, I'd say this one would be the better of the 3. So if you only had time to watch that one, just watch that one. But as I warned earlier, a lot of the animations which were based off of Western things, Sherlock Hound, Anne of Green Gables, of course, something like this, Three Musketeers, in general, when they come out in English, it doesn't do all that well. Of course, this has a really huge French following because of obviously that's where the thing comes comes from. So obviously that's where the popularity comes there. So I mean, if that's the one that you have to choose, choose that one. All right. Alright, so I'll do the OVAs now. Now, the OVAs are quite expansive. There's a very, very large list of OVAs. Again, I guess ever since 85, 86, right? The number of OVAs have just jumped up. Okay, but still, I'll do it again this way. I'll give you the options of the ones which just are no doubt shoe-ins. Okay. And the ones that you know, if you absolutely have to pick something out of this year, these must be the ones. Period. Okay. And I'll give you a bunch here. I'll give you a list of 7, which are like, you know, the pivotal ones for this particular, and I'll give you the reasons why. Okay. So the best ones for this particular period would be Bubblegum Crisis and Golf Force. Okay, you know, those are 2 big films for Kenichi Sonoda. Very influential in getting AnimeEgo started and getting get that, that cyberpunk thing for for example, Bubblegum Crisis. Very very important for a lot of people who started in anime at this particular time. Okay, I'm going to include Robot Carnival because obviously that's that's your sort of big blockbuster movie kind of thing at this time. A lot of good artists and a lot of good content now, so that's why you definitely have to have that one. That's a pretty much a no-brainer there. I'm going to include the Devilman, and I'm going to include the Dirty Pair OVAs, and I include these 2 because of legacy. Okay, so again, this is based off of there's a huge following. Obviously all the people who like Go Nagai stuff from Cutie Honey and Devilman, the earlier TV series. Now they make this OVA, so again, that leads to show that follows that. And of course, there's going to be lots of more Devilmans coming out. Again, this particular thing is not my style, but I understand the reach of how popular Devilman is, and of course, Dirty Pair. Just right after the TV series ended, lots of people like Dirty Pair, and and it's more that girls with guns blowing up stuff. So that's gotta be there. And the last 2 I'm going to mention is Madox 01 and Dangayo. And again, I mention these ones because for their respective companies, these were the animes that were the first launch titles in North America. Okay, so this is how a lot of us at this particular time remember this era. This fact that we go to a comic book store or whatever, and if we're looking for anime, there's that video cassette from U.S. renditions of Dangayo, or there's that that really thick huge box of Madox 01 from AnimeEgo, right? Those are the titles that a lot of us were the first animes that we were really exposed to. So again, I include those as the must be shoo-ins for 87. Now, saying as much, what would be so like anyone who's doing this kind of a thing should have given you these same titles. Okay, anyone who's got any experience in anime and doing these type of lists, they should have known that these would have all been the titles. Now, what I can offer you is what are the next 5. Okay, because that's tricky. Now you have to know what the heck you're talking about with this stuff. Okay. And so the next 5, okay, or so if you've gone through all that, or all about that, and you're a seasoned person that goes backwards and that kind of stuff, and thinks, okay, yeah, I've seen all those or whatever, or I'm familiar with those type of titles. What else can I get out of 1987 that isn't so obvious? Where's that gem in the rough? And okay, and this one is where I'll come in and I'll give you a hand with that. Okay. So of the remaining titles that are left, once you remove all those, the list becomes pretty tight. Okay, but what I would probably recommend after this point is I would probably recommend Battle Royale High School and Steel Demon. Okay, now I recommend those 2 just probably because of the character designer who does the stuff for them. Right, again, this is the start of what their beginning careers of stuff, right? They're going to move on to do other really big titles, in the future. Lost Wars and whatnot, and Berserk and all this other stuff. That will come from these guys. So, and there's a lot of other, for example, in Battle Royale High School, there's also things that he'll do like Angel Cop and the other really big titles that you'd want to know. So I'd recommend those ones. First 2 right there. The next one I would recommend is Toei. Okay, now again, I don't recommend so much Toei for the animation, I say, but I definitely do, really like the music and that kind of stuff, and how it's about a band and everything like that. So if you got if you got a time, you got a chance to to check that one out, definitely I would take that one. Okay, and I'll do one more, and it's on my recommendation. I recommended there's 3 titles that came together. Good Morning Althea, Legacium, and Ladius. Okay, those are sort of bunched together in there, and and I mean, said they're all one shot type of things, but the key about this one again has been the key for most of the titles that I picked out this year in this bracket is what art style and what character design do you like the most? Okay, so if you are, as you said, so if you are interested in Kiya Azumiya's work and that kind of stuff, go for Good Morning Althea, and that's my personal choice too. I personally those 3 like Althea. And my next choice after that would be, of course, Legacium, because that's the Zeta Gundam kind of guy. And again, I was really into the Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta Gundam type of character, that kind of stuff. And then if you still have time and you want to just go for that last one, check out Ladius. But those would be my picks for 1987 on the OVA side. So there's quite a lot, but I mean, as I said, these are the key ones that you want to do. And some people will say, well, why didn't you pick Scoopers and why didn't you pick like Junk Boy? Well, first of all, Scoopers, yeah, it's Monkey Punch, but I'm not a Monkey Punch fan, so that's why I didn't pick it for myself. And again, I understand Lupin and that kind of stuff, but Scoopers, yeah, whatever, right? That can be a hard pass. The other one, of course, was Junk Boy, but again, if I compare Junk Boy to like say for example something like Golden Boy, which is a similar concept, I'd wait until Golden Boy. That's a much better anime in that respect. Okay, and finally we'll do the movies. The movies are pretty simple because again, there's not just like the TV series. There's not a heck of a lot of movies to pick from, so it's not too difficult to look at the list of titles and just quickly pick out. Okay, yeah, these are obvious. What the prime movies are going to be. So I'll begin with the list. Right away, you'll pick and see that there's obviously the Dragon Ball, the second movie. There's the Lupin the Third, the Fuma Conspiracy, and then you'll get the Saint Seiya movie. Okay, all these titles are based off of previous lineage, right? Could basically, if you're a fan of any of these franchises, right? You're very excited to see the next, especially a feature film coming out with again, when the new animation, new story, that kind of stuff, that will go along for that story. And so, obviously these are key ones that you would want to watch, especially if you've already seen, the series on those continuing. Okay. That leaves the last 2. Okay, so these would be ones. Which is going to be Labyrinth Tales and Twilight of the Cockroaches. Okay, so these 2 movies would be obviously the things that obviously are new and have come out, which has no really attachment to anything else. Okay, again, Labyrinth Tales is again a lot of short stories, good artists and that kind of stuff in that one, definitely worth watching. And the Twilight of the Cockroaches is one, it's I mean, it's a different kind of art style because they tried to mix 2 things together. It's really, again, a really different sort of film. Okay, but very good, and it's a lot of good story to that. Like a lot of parallels and that kind of stuff in it. So those would be my 5 choices that you should pick out for the year 1987. Take a look at those ones and then see if what you like out of those. Okay, so that was a lot to go through, and we're only finished like half of the year, right? So until next time, see you again.